Try to lane right now. The final match of this Monday is underway. Ghana is trailing the United States by a score of 1-0. Clint Dempsey scored the first goal for the Americans. It's the first match for Team USA in this World Cup. Dempsey is the captain of the U.S. team, and he put the ball into the net, get this, just 30 seconds into the match. It is the quickest goal so far in this year's tournament, and it's the fastest ever for the United States. As far as World Cup history, it's the 5th fastest time that a goal has ever been scored in a game. CCTV's Joel Richards is live in Rio de Janeiro, where fans are watching the action right now. And Joel, pretty exciting stuff, huh?
Evening, Mike. Well, you certainly seem very happy with the results so far. It certainly is very exciting stuff here in Brazil, really shaping up to be a fantastic World Cup. We're in a slightly different location tonight, just a few kilometres down the beach. There are thousands of supporters, though, watching this game, this final match on day 5. A day in which we've had the first goalless game, the first of the tournament so far. That was Iran against Nigeria. But elsewhere, though, it's really been spectacular action going on. The first match today was Germany against Portugal. Two sides in a very difficult group, but two sides expected to fare very well in this World Cup. Germany in particular, many people's favourite candidate for the title, and they began in spectacular form against Portugal. They won 4-0, a hat-trick from Thomas Müller, leading that charge for the Germans. Bit of luck in terms of the Portuguese defence, giving them a bit of a hand. Pepe, the centre-back, slightly lost his cool, and he was sent off, really handing the game, if you like, and control of that match to Portugal, because in the early phases, Portugal seemed that they could have grabbed a goal, but the world's superstar Cristiano Ronaldo then unable to help Portugal there. A stunning 4-0 lead win for Germany, Portugal's heaviest defeat ever, Mike, and a great start for a team, as we said, really expected to do very well at this World Cup.
Joel, it seems like the World Cup is off to a rather smooth start. Any big issues that we should know about?
Well, it started fantastically well in terms of the sport, Mike, as we mentioned, many goals, lots of talking points, and really in terms of the supporters and how they're seeing this World Cup, everyone's pretty happy, apart from perhaps the Croatians who are still reeling from that day one penalty that was given against them. But thousands of people have made the trip to Brazil. You're right that there were concerns before this tournament. Of course, all the protests were widely publicised, and we have seen some of those protests continue around Brazil in several of the cities, particularly in Sao Paulo on day one. But elsewhere, it has died down ever so slightly in terms of the intensity, if you like, of these protests. Another of the concerns was simply if all the travelling tourists had somewhere to stay for the night. 600,000 foreign tourists are anticipated, expected here in Brazil, many coming to Rio. And if what we've seen here in Copacabana is anything to go by, Mike, they found solutions by simply sleeping out on the beach behind us.
Not a bad solution, I guess, in some respects. You know, one of the other issues that came up quite a bit, Joel, was the stadium construction. There were delays, there were some accidents. Is it just that the games have started now, the enthusiasm, the excitement, all of that's been erased, do you think, and pushed to the side? Now people just are focused on the games themselves?
There is an element of that, because now the front page of all the papers here and in the international press is very much focusing on the photo of the star, the hero of the day before. There are concerns about the stadium. Some of them aren't 100%, and more than the stadium perhaps is the infrastructure. Arriving to many of those stadiums is a problem, and also then once inside, many supporters are very angry at the price of refreshments and food available. A small bottle of water, for example, going for $2, very long queues, and these are just some of the frustrations that many supporters are finding. But as you said, though, really the sport is managing to the sporting side is taking over here in Rio. Mike, really overrun with Argentines who've made the trip up, travelling to see their side. They started their World Cup campaign yesterday at Maracanã. They beat Bosnia and Herzegovina by 2-1. And of course, the rivalry between Brazil and Argentina is one of the great storylines at this World Cup. As Stephen Gibbs reports, we can now hear they've received a somewhat mixed reaction. The Argentines have received a slightly mixed reaction from their Brazilian hosts.